Hello everybody, my name is Jose Rodriguez. In a previous video, we were able to configure network adapters for our two networks, pandalab.com and the internet, both based on our network design. In this video, we will show you how can you create a virtual router using PfSense software. This virtual machine will allow the communication between pandalab.com and the internet. As a first step, we need to download the installer for PfSense. So you need to open a new tab in your preferred web browser and go to pfsense.org. On the top right side of your screen, you will find the download menu. So let's open this menu in a new tab. It should take you to the latest community edition page for PfSense. Select the AMD 64 bits architecture, the ISO installer, and the Austin, Texas mirror. Then click on download to get the PfSense installer. Once the download is complete, you can see that the downloaded file is compressed. So what we are going to do is I will use the gunzip utility to extract the ISO file. We need to change our directory to the download folder. So I will type cd downloads, and if we list all the files in this directory, you will see that there is the compressed file that we just downloaded. So we need to type gunzip and then the name of the gc file, which is pf here, which is hit enter. So we can extract the ISO file. So if we list all the content of this directory again, you will see that now we have the ISO file here available. So we can use this to create our virtual machine in VirtualBox. Okay, so the ISO file was extracted correctly. We are now ready to create our virtual router. So we just need to go to VirtualBox here, and then we are going to click on the tools icon and then select the welcome option. And then we need to click on new here. We will need to type a name for our router. So I'll go with PfSense 2.7.0, which is the latest version of PfSense that we were able to download. And then we will use the default machine folder, okay? And we need to select the PfSense ISO file, okay? So we are going here, we are going to click on other, and here is the ISO file that we just extracted from the file that we downloaded. So we can just click on open, and then for the type of system, we are going to select BSD, okay, that stands for Berkeley Software Distribution. And for the version, we are going to select FreeBSD 64 bits, okay? Since VirtualBox cannot identify the operating system type, we will need to, this operating system will need to be installed manually, okay? So let's just click on Next. Let's use the default values for the memory and the number of processors for this virtual machine. So we just need to click on Next. Then we need to create a virtual hard disk and use the default size value, which is 16 gigabytes. So we just need to click on Next. You can review the summary of information for your router and make any corrections if necessary. If you don't have any modifications to do, you can just click on finish to create the virtual machine. Okay, so here is our new virtual machine PfSense 2.7.0. Before we start the PfSense router, we need to enable its network adapters. So if you remember from our network design, the PfSense router is the only device that has two IP addresses, 192.168.1.1 for pandalab.com and 10.0.5.5 for the internet. This means that we need to enable two network adapters for this virtual machine, one for each network. So let's go to VirtualBox again, and select the PfSense router here. And then we need to click on Settings. And then let's click on the Network tab. Okay. So you can see that VirtualBox allows you to connect up to 4 network adapters to this virtual machine. So let's click on adapter 1 here, and we need to be sure that it is enabled, and we need to attach this to internal network. Okay. For the name field, we need to type internet. Okay. Internet is the default value for internal network. So the network that we configured previously was internet. Okay. Now we need to click on adapter 2. Okay. We need to enable this network adapter by checking the enable network adapter bots. Now let's attach this to a NAT network here. Okay. And since pandalab.com is the only NAT network we have configured so far, it should appear as the name for the adapter. Otherwise, you can search for this network adapter just by clicking on it here. This is the only option we have right now. And then let's just click on OK to save our changes. Okay, so we are now ready to start our virtual router and install PfSense. So let's select the virtual device and click on the start icon. VirtualBox will start loading all the data and information from the ISO file. Okay, you can read the copyright and trademark information, and then you can just hit enter. Using the arrows and the tab keys, you can select install PfSense, and you can select OK and then hit enter to continue. Select the first option, Auto ZFS, okay, and then OK and hit enter. Select the install option, okay, and then here in select, just hit enter. Then we will use the first option, Stripe, okay, and then select OK and hit enter. We will use the space key to select the VBOX hard disk, and then select OK and hit enter. Okay. When getting this warning message regarding the hard disk, just select OK and hit enter. Let's wait for VirtualBox then to process all the PfSense files. Okay, so when the installation of PfSense is complete, we need to reboot the computer. Okay, but before we reboot the virtual device, we need to remove the ISO file from the virtual machine. So you need to go to the devices menu. Okay, uh, select optical drives, and then you can select the remove disk from virtual drive here. Okay, you will get a message that says VirtualBox is unable to eject the virtual drive. So let's just select on force unmount. Okay, now we can just select reboot and hit enter. You might need to type exit and then hit enter. So let's just try this. Exit. If this doesn't work, what you can do is you can just go to the machine menu here and then select the reset option here. When VirtualBox asks if we really want to reset this virtual device, um, just select the reset option. We now need to wait for the system to reboot. Okay, awesome. Our router is almost ready to use. We can see both interfaces, one for wide area network for the internet and LAN or local area network for pandalab.com. The IP assigned to for pandalab.com matches our network design, right? 192.168.1.1, but the IP address for the internet is different because it's supposed to be 10.055. Okay, therefore we need to assign the correct IP address. So let's go back to VirtualBox. Okay, um, so in order to do this, we have different options. You can see from 0 to 16 to perform different actions. So what we need to use is option number 2, okay, to set the interface or interfaces IP addresses. Okay, so let's just type on number 2 and hit enter. Since we are updating the IP address for the WAN interface, okay, we just need to type 1 and hit enter. It says configure IP address. one interface via DHCP, we are going to type N for no, okay, because we want to uh, configure the IP address manually. So we are going to define a static IP address for this device, okay? So it's asking us for the new IP address. So we will need to type 10.0.55, okay, and hit enter. Then it's asking us for the subnet bit count, okay. Um, since our internet network is a class C network, we will use 24 for the bit count. Okay, so we will type 24 and hit enter. So it's asking us for the upstream gateway address, and the gateway address we will use is the IP address for our DHCP server um, for the internet network. So we need to type 10.0.5.1 and hit enter. Then it's asking if this gateway should be set as the default gateway. So we will type yes or Y and hit enter. Um, we don't want to configure the IP version 6 address for now. So let's just type end or no and hit enter. Um, enter the new IP version 6 address. Let's just hit enter for none because we don't want to work with IP address or IP version 6 addresses. Um, type in or no to disable the DHCP server on the one interface because we are setting, as I mentioned it before, we are setting a static IP address for this router. So let's just hit enter. Um, type end or no when asked to revert the web configurator protocol and hit enter. Okay, so now let's wait for PfSense to save our changes and then hit enter to continue. As you can see, the IP addresses for both network adapters match our network design. 10.0.5.5 for the internet network, okay, and 192.168.1.1 for our pandalab.com network. And we are ready to use this router to communicate between pandalab.com and the internet network. Thank you for watching this video.